The finish of Starrcade '97. Why did the entire deal with Sting and Hogan go wrong when you had, expertly built it up that moment when Sting won in the title?
Chemistry and expectations. We had put so much into that. A lot. It was set up perfectly. Nobody had ever done anything like that before. His character was over. It was great. I have to be very careful here, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Sting had issues. Sting was going through his own challenges during that time. And it's probably better served for him to talk about those things than for me. But there were issues there. And our expectation, meaning mine and Hogan's, was that this was Sting's time. And he had an entire year to prepare for that moment, or more. And we never really, we saw Sting, he'd come in, he'd have his coat on, he'd have the vulture and the makeup, and he'd go away, or he'd drop down from the ceiling, drop somebody in her head, and leave. We didn't see a lot of Sting. He'd come, he'd go. Okay. So by the time we got to Starrcade, and this is another moment I remember specifically, because we got into the room and it was time to sit down and go over the finish, talk about the way things are going to lay out. And it was clear that Sting hadn't not only not worked out in an extended period of time. At that time, he didn't look a whole lot different than I did at that time. Bigger, but not. He didn't look like that. He didn't look like what we hoped he would.
Right.
No tan, and he came in deflated. I don't want to say deflated. That's not true. He came in with less intensity and energy than I think. I know I was kind of like, wow. And I know Hulk was, more so than me. I was like, dude, we've built this up, we've set the table, and you couldn't have bothered to get a tan or get to the gym for a month before this happened? In all honesty, and I love Sting and Steve Borden, I love Steve, and we are friends. But the truth is the truth, and it's the truth from my perspective. He may feel differently. Hulk may have a different perspective. I'm giving you mine. From my perspective, it's like, man, there's something missing here. Now I know what it was. I didn't then. Now I do, after, having conversations with Steve. And he may not ever talk about it, but I know what was going on, and it was just a bad time. It was bad timing.
Who was at fault for the fast count, and why was it allowed to happen? Was anyone ever penalized for it?
I honestly, I don't know. I know that it happened. I know it was controversial. I know there was a shitstorm because of it, but I can't tell you whose fault it was. And it might have been one of these things where everybody was kind of pointing in another direction and blaming each other. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not sure I knew then, and I clearly don't know now.